Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Lost Patrol. Let's check it out. Setup for the game, one person is playing the Gene Stealers, one person is playing the Space Marines. There are 12 Gene Stealers and 5 Space Marines. There is a bunch of tiles that you're going to shuffle, put in the dropship tile at the bottom of that stack, and then you're going to take this center tile here, place it in the middle of the board, and then slowly place out tiles around it until you can't see anything, like line of sight. So if I have a straightaway, I did another one here, straightaway, another one here, straightaway, another one here. That was a curve, so I left that one there. This split off, so I left that one there. This one, you're never allowed to block off paths unless you have no choice. So in this case, I had no choice to block off this path or block off the main path, so I just put it there. That's the only time you can purposely block off a path, is if you have no other option. Now, the Space Marines all start in the center tile, and it starts off with the Space Marines. Each Space Marine gets 2 actions, and their actions are very simple. They can fire their weapon and fight an alien or Gene Stealer, or they can move. To move, they just move 1 space. Now, most spaces they can move straight through, except you see these little tangleweed tiles. These are both tangleweed tiles, so you probably don't want to go through here, because once you enter, you have to roll to get out a 4, 5, or 6. If you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you are stuck in the tanglewood for that turn, and you may not move. So there are lots of tanglewood tiles here, or tanglebriar, or whatever it's called, in the tile stack here, that you may have to enter through. Now, as each one is going, they can move in groups of 2 or 3, however they want. And when they make all their movements, let's say we leave this guy here, then it is the Gene Stealer's turn. Now, first thing, they need to make sure they can establish line of sight for everything. So, for instance, if let's say every Space Marine, I'm just going to do this as an example here, every Space Marine has to see certain tiles here by 2 movements each. And like, for instance, if he can move 2 spaces, he can move here, see all the way down here, but he can never see that one. Now, even though that tile may have been revealed later on, it is now removed from the game. If there are any Gene Stealers on it, they are removed as well. And if it was connecting, let's say another Marine, let's say there was another Marine out here, your Marines have been scattered out, then that tile would go missing. Well, when you have a disconnection in the jungle, then one of the Marines is also going to get lost forever. Basically, they're going to die, so this Marine would die. So you don't want to spread out too far, but the game does encourage you to spread out, because the further you spread out and explore, the more of the tiles you can go through. Remember, that dropship tile is at the bottom of the stack. So after they've determined what tiles to get away, if any, the first round or so, you probably won't get rid of any. Let me bring this guy back here. And then you would take out other tiles. Now, the Gene Stealer is the one who places the tiles. They'll go, okay, I'm going to place one here. It is a straightaway. So they put that one there. Well, now they have to pick another one. They pick another one. It's a curve, and then they're done. They put it there. Then they say, I'm going to put one here now. And that's a curve, and that one's done. Now, it looks like they're going to have to block out that path, which is allowed because that's the only option they had. Then they do the same over here. That's a 3-way they put up there. And for that one, another curve. Ooh, all tangle briar. Not very good there. After that, the Gene Stealer gets 3 actions. The 3 actions can be, 1, to place a Gene Stealer. When they're placing a Gene Stealer, it has to be anywhere on the outside pass of the board, so they can go here for 1 action. They get up to 3 actions, so they can do that 3 times. Now, attacking isn't one of their actions. Attacking is just something they do when they end their turn next to someone. All right, so before I get into attacking, let me go over the other 2 options that they have. They can move Gene Stealer. If they have a Gene Stealer, just 1 Gene Stealer, and by the way, this bramble wire here, that doesn't affect them. They can move straight through it. In fact, they don't even have to go down this road. They can cut through tiles where there are 2 jungle pieces together. They can move through the jungle as well and attack someone. So if I had one here, I could just move him straight through the jungle and land on that one to attack him if he wanted to. Now, each one of the Gene Stealers, they have a value of 2. So for instance, for this Marine to fight me off, he would roll 1 die, and on a 2 or higher, higher, he'd fend me off. Aha, I fended him off there. But of course, it could be up to 6 there. Now, other things about gene stealers, he could actually got to him anyway going down the path, because one gene stealer can move 3 spaces. If you have 2 gene stealers, they can move up to 2 spaces. And if you have 3 gene stealers, they can move only 1 space. But of course, remember, they can cut through tiles to get to the Marines. So they're very powerful when it comes to their movement. The third action they can do is they can infest. If there's an alien on that square there, what they do is they drop there's some egg minis in the game, and you put down egg minis, and that means they can spawn in that area without having to use the outer edges of the board, which you're never really going to use anyway, because you can move so fast, and plus you can always spawn on a tile next to a Marine. So Infest is kind of a wasteful action. Okay, so let's get to a battle here. Let's say that these 2 Marines are fighting these 3 gene stealers. There is one here. Let's say if they were 2 regular Marines. If they were 2 regular Marines there, they would get only 1 die and a +1 because they have some backup. They have people covering them. And they have to roll a 6 to fend that one off, because that's 2 for 6. They rolled a 4, +1 is a 5, 1 would die. When that happens, then the gene stealers will take over that tile, and the Space Marine has to move off the tile into another tile, so they would move in there. Now, a battle would be there's a heavy gunner. You have a heavy gunner, and he basically rolls 2 die. So let's say this is the new battle. Well, there's no one blocking him. I'm sure this guy's got spot on him, but he's not really fighting him. They're on their own. If this guy had been over here, they'd get a +1. But he gets to roll 2 die, the heavy gunner does, and he has to roll a 6 or higher. He does. He rolls double 6s. That is incredible. So he fends off the aliens. And actually, the way to kill aliens is you have to roll a 6. So if he was attacking them, he would have killed both of those gene stealers in a fantastic roll. The only other roll mitigation here is you have with the sergeant. When the sergeant is rolling, he gets a +2. So for instance, if I was going to just fight him, that's a 5, 6, 7. I honestly killed him. I would have killed him on a 6 there, and so he is dead as well. So those are the base rules as it goes to fighting. Now, there is a house rule that we have here that says, hey, if you are with another Marine, you get to roll another die. But that is a house rule. The reason we made that house rule is they gave you 3 die, and there's no way you would use all these, because only the heavy gunner uses 2 die. So that's why we said, hey, if you're with someone, you get an extra die. If you're with the heavy gunner, you get 3 die, a chance to roll a 6. Same thing applies. If you have covering fire, you get a +1, or if you're the sergeant, you get a +2. It kind of balances the game out just a little bit more, we found. One other die mitigation I forgot to mention is, if you are all alone, he has no backup fire. As you see, they don't have line of sight toward him. Well, then he only rolls 1 die because he's all alone, plus it's a -1. So this guy doesn't even worry about him. He's never going to beat that number. But if it was a 4, he may have, but that's a 1, so that's a 0, so he is dead. All right, and again, the ways to win the game is if the gene stealers wipe out all of the Marines, which is going to happen most of the time, or if the Marines make it to the dropship, then they will win, and that's the game. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, like I said, the Space Marines are going to lose all the time unless you use that house rule. Then the Space Marines have a chance. It's just an extra die. That's all it is, not a +1. We thought about doing a +1, or we thought about lowering it to a 5 and 6 like a Space Hulk game. But we found out just getting the extra die, you got a 50-50 here. Now, why shouldn't you get this game? Let me start off that. First off, those sprues to build it, I'll never put those together. Like I said, I don't know how to, and I don't have the time. So I don't know if I'm going to sell them, throw them away, or what. But those are just ridiculous. If you want to buy the game, buy it used. Also, you can't buy the game because it's out of print, and it costs $1 billion. Not $1 billion, but it costs a lot of money. More money than what the game's worth. The reason you're paying so high a price is because it's Warhammer and you're paying for those minis. Okay, that's basically why there's such a high price on this. And like I said, I'd be open, minus the eggs, to sell my minis. I'd be open to that maybe. But anyway, the thing is, this is a game that I bought because I love Space Hulk so much. I'd always wanted this game, found it for an incredibly cheap price, a third of what it's going for online, and I had to get it. I had to get it at that good a price. So got this game, came in the mail. We've played it 1 billion times. This is a great game. I mean, I love Space Hulk. And again, if you play with the regular rules, the aliens are going to win every time, 100% of the time, almost convinced, unless someone is very inept at the game. But if you use our little house rule there, where they throw the extra die, if they're with someone, it doesn't matter if they're with 3 people, and it's not, one's not the heavy gunner, they're still only rolling 2 die, it gives them a better chance at survival, because rolling a 6, that's pretty hard, man. But the game is really fun, because like I said, you're trying to spread out around the jungle, but spreading out, getting separated is a bad thing. But you want to do that, because if you all move as one group, you're only revealing 1 or 2 tiles per turn. You're never going to find the dropship. I love that about this game. You know, like I said, it penalizes you for spreading out, but then again, you have to go through that stack of tiles, you have to spread out. And then there have been times I did get one of my poor Marines lost, and he just lost himself in the woods, and just like, you know, in the Predator, we just heard a scream and we just kept going. This is a great game, almost like Predator, the board game is. Space Hulk is like Aliens, the board game. This is Predator, the board game, and the Predator usually wins a lot in this one. But really fun game. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, you know what to do. Game on!